네, 오늘은 8월 16일입니다. 올해가 시작된 지 얼마 안 된 것 같은데 벌써 석 달 조금 더 남았네요. 금방 가요, 시간이. 그래서 그런지 올해 초에 제가 생각했던 것만큼이나 충실하게 살았는지에 대해서 좀 궁금해지고 또 그래요. 분명히 올 초에 새해를 시작할 때보다는 나아졌다라고 생각하지만 과연 얼만큼 나아졌는지는 잘 모르겠어요. 올 초보다는 네, 아이들도 저도 틀림없이 많이 조금씩이나마 발자국을 떼고 있다고 생각을 하는데, 이게 생각하는 것만큼의 속도감이라는 게 세워지지 않으니까 좀 조급해지고 답답해지고 그랬던 것 같아요. 그리고 그러지 말아야겠다라는 생각을 오늘 해봅니다. 오늘 아침에는 책을 좀 읽어보려고요. 네. 책 받침대로 꽃을 이렇게 쓱 당겨봤어요. 오늘 읽을 책은 The Day of Dragon King이라는 매직 트리하우스 시리즈고요. 이거 매직 트리하우스 14권이에요. 매직 트리하우스 시리즈를 제가 쭉 읽고 있는데요. 물론 김은규 선생님이 하시는 영서당의 영향도 있는 것 같고, 또 제가 읽기에 큰 부담 없이 또 좀 되게 간단한 문장이라도 영어식 표현에 조금 익숙해지는데 정말 도움이 되는 것 같아요. 영서당 강의를 듣다 보면은 네, 그런 생각이 들거든요. 이거 과연 이런 동화책을 읽어서 괜찮아질까? 이런 생각을 하는데, 일단 방법이 없을 때 믿어보는 걸로, 그런데 이제 정말로 조금씩이라도 효과가 나타나고 효과가 있다고 느껴집니다. 먼저 그게 가본 사람이, 제가 지금 보리차 앉혀놨는데 끓는 소리가 들려서 계속 신경이 쓰이네요. 끄고 와야겠어요. 보통 이 책 읽는데, 예전에는 이 한 권을 읽는데 며칠에 나눠서 끊어서 읽고 그랬는데, 요즘은 그래도 효과가 느껴지는 게 이 책을 읽는데 마음 잡고 앉아서 읽으면은 1시간 정도면은 읽더라고요. 그래서 확실히 효과가 있구나. 그럼에도 불구하고 이 쉬운 동화책에도 여전히 모르는 단어들이 많이 존재하는구나라는 생각을 해봅니다. 한번 읽어볼게요. The Day of the Dragon King. 진시황 이야기예요. Prologue. One summer day in Frog Creek, Pennsylvania, a mystery tree house appeared in the woods. 8-year-old Jack and his 7-year-old sister Annie climbed into the tree house. They found that it was filled with books. Jack and Annie soon discovered that the treehouse was magic. It could take them to the place in the book. All they had to do was point to a picture and wish to go there. Along the way, they discovered that the treehouse belongs to Morgan Le Fay. Morgan is a magical librarian from the time of King Arthur. She traveled through time and space gathering books. In Magic Tree House, 12 polar bears passed bedtime. Jack and Annie solved the rest of poor ancient riddles and became master librarian to help them in their future task. Morgan gave Zack any secret rival card with the letter ML on them. Second, Annie's first commission as master librarians are to save the story from ancient libraries. When their first adventure ended, the Magic Treehouse 13th vacation under the volcano, Morgan asked them to return to the treehouse in 2 weeks to go to China and save another story. Now the 2 weeks are over. Chapter 1, The Bamboo Book. Annie peeked into Jack's room. Ready to go to China? She asked. Jack took a deep breath. Sure, he answered. Bring your secret library card and said, I have mine in my pocket. Yep, said Jack. He opened his top dresser drawer and took out a thin wooden card where M on it shivered in the right. Jack dropped the card into his backpack. Then he threw in his notebook and a pencil. Let's go, said Annie. Jack put on his pack and followed her. What are we in for today? He wondered. Bye, Mom, said Annie as they passed their mom in the kitchen. Where are you going? She asked. China! Great! said their mom. She winked at them. Have fun! Fun! said Jack. He was afraid that fun wasn't quite the right word. Just wish us luck, he said. As he and Annie headed out the front door, good luck, their mother called. If only she knew we aren't pretending, Jack whispered to Annie. Said Annie, grinning. Outside, the sun shone brightly. Birds sang. Cricket chirped. Jack and Annie walked up their street at the Frog Creek Wood. I wonder if the weather will be this nice in China, Annie said. I don't know. Remember, Morgan said this would be a very scary adventure, he said. And said Jack. Mm, are always scary, said Annie, but we always met animals who have those or people. True, said Jack. I bet we meet someone great today, said Annie. Jack smiled. He was starting to feel excited now instead of scared. Let's hurry, he said. They ran into the Frog Creek Wood. They slipped between the tall tree until they came to a huge oak. Hello, came a soft voice they knew well. They looked up. Morgan was peering down from the Magic Tree House. Ready for your next mission as Master Librarians? She asked. Yes, said Jack and Annie. They cracked the rough red bear and started up. Are we still going to China? Asked Annie when they had climbed into the treehouse. Indeed, said Morgan. You're going to ancient China. Here is the title of the story you must find. She held up a long thin strip of wood. It looked like a ruler, except it had this strange writing on it instead of number. Long ago, the Chinese discovered how to make paper. It was one of the world's most important discoveries, said Morgan. But you are going to a time earlier than that, to a time when books were written on bamboo strip like this one. Wow, said Annie, pointing at the figure on the bamboo. So this is Chinese writing? Yes, said Morgan. Just as we have Chinese writing is made up of many characters. Which one stand for a different thing or idea? These, char- these characters are the title of an ancient Chinese legend. You must find the first writing of the legend before the imperial library is destroyed. Hurry, let's go, said Annie. Wait, we need our research book, said Jack. Yes, you do, said Morgan. From the fold of her robe, she pulled out a book. On the cover was the title, The Time of the First Empire. Morgan had handed the book to Jack. This research book will guide you, she said. But remember, in your dark, darkest, in your darkest hour, 가장 어두운 시간에, only the, only the old legend can save you. Well, we have to find it first, said Annie. Exactly, said Morgan. She handed Jack the bamboo strip, and he slipped it into his bag. Jack pushed his glasses into place, then pointed at the cover of their research book. I wish we could go there, he said. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster, faster. Then everything was still, absolutely still. Chapter 2. The Goat. Oh wow, I said, this clothes feel so soft. And look, I have a pocket for my secret rabbit card. Jack opened his eyes. Their clothes had magically changed. They no longer wore jean t-shirts and sneakers. Instead, they had baggy pants, loose shirts, straw shoes, and round hats. And his shirt had a pocket in it. Jack saw that his backpack had become a rough cloth sack. Inside were his research book, his notebook, his rival card, and the bamboo strip. Cows, said Annie, looking out the window. Jack looked up too. The treehouse had landed in a lone tree in a sunny field. Cow grazed, and a young man stood watching over them. At the edge of the field was a farmhouse. Beyond the house was a walled city. It looks so peaceful, said Annie. You can never be sure, said Jack. Remember, Pompeii looked peaceful before the volcano went off. Oh, yeah, said Annie. Let's see what the book said Jack. He reached, he reached in the sack and pulled out the China book. He opened it and read aloud. Over 2,000 years ago, China was ruled by its first emperor because he chose the dragon to be his symbol. He was called the Dragon King. In China, dragons are seen as brave and powerful creatures. Dragon King? This sounds a little scary, said Jack. I like his outfit, said Annie. Next to the writing as a picture, it showed a man wearing a rich flowing robe with wide sleeve. He also wore a tall hat with beads hanging from it. Jack pulled out his notebook and wrote the Imperial called the Dragon King. The book we need must be in the Dragon King's library, said Annie. I bet his palace is in that city. They looked up right, he said, and this is how to get there. He pointed across the field to a dot road and right to the walled city. Good plan, said Annie. She climbed out of the treehouse and started down the road ladder. Jack threw the china book and his notebook into his sack. He slung the sack over his shoulder and followed Annie. When they reached to the ground, they started through the field. Look, that guy's waving at us, said Annie. The man tending the cow was shouting and waving. He started running toward them. Uh-oh, what he want? Said Jack. A moment later, the man stood in their path. He was young and handsome with a kind face. Can you do me a great favor? He asked. I would be most grateful. Of course, said Annie. Give a message to the sick weaver. You will see her at the farmhouse, said the young man. Tell her to meet me here at twilight. Sure, no problem, said Annie. The young man smiled. Thank you, he said. Then he started to leave. Wait, excuse me, said Jack. Do you know where we can find the Imperial Library? A look of horror crossed the man's kind face. Why? He whispered. Oh, I just wondered, said Jack. The young man shook his head. Beware of the king, uh, beware of the Dragon King, he said. Whatever you do, be waver. Then he turned and ran back to his cow. Oh man, whispered Jack. Now we know one thing for sure. What? Asked Annie. This place is not as peaceful as it seems, Jack said. Chapter 3. The Sick Weaver. Jack and Annie kept walking across the pasture toward the road. Annie stopped when they neared the farmhouse. We have to find the sick weaver and give her the message, she said. Let's do that on our way back, said Jack. I'm worried about finding the Imperial Library. What if we don't have time? Said Annie. We promised it, and he was so nice. Jack sighed. Okay, he said. But let's find her past and remember to keep your head down so no one will notice her. Jack and Annie bowed their head as they headed toward the house. As they got closer, Jack picked up from under his hat an ox pulled a cart filled with hay. Man hauled the ground. Woman pushed wheelbarrows barrows piled high with grain. There, said Annie. She pointed an open pouch where a young woman was weaving clothes on a loom. That must be her. Annie ran to the silk weaver. They looked around to see if anyone was watching. Luckily, all the palm worker seemed too busy to not notice anything. Still looking around the careful, Jack walked toward the pouch, and he was already talking to the silk weaver. What did he say? The young woman asked. Her voice was soft but strong, her dark eyes glowed with happiness. He said, "You should meet him in the field at twilight," said Annie. "He's so handsome." "Yes, he is." The ship weaver gave Annie a shy smile. Then she reached down to the basket near her room and picked up a ball of yellow thread. "It was very brave of you to bring the message," she said. "Please accept this secret thread as as my thank you." She handed Annie the ball of silk. "It's beautiful," said Annie. "Peel." She handed it to Jack. The thread was smooth and soft. "How do you make silk?" said Jack. "It is made from the cocoon of silkworm," said the weaver. "A red worm? That's neat," said Jack. "Let me write that down." He reached into his sack. "Please don't," said the silk weaver. "The making of silk is Chinese most valuable secret. Anyone who steals the secret will be arrested. The Dragon King will have him put to death." "Oops," said Jack. He dropped the ball of silk into his sack. "I think you must reap quickly," whispered the silk weaver. "You have been seen." Jack looked over his shoulder. A man was pointing at them. "Let's go," he said. "Bye," said Annie. "Good luck on your date." "Thank you," the silk weaver said. "Come on," said Jack. He hurried away from the silk weaver. "Stop!" someone shouted. "Run!" said Annie. Chapter 4. The Great War. Jack and Annie ran around the farmhouse. At back was an ox cart filled with the bags of grain. There was no one inside. The shouting behind them got louder. Jack and Annie looked at each other, then dived into the back of the wooden cart. They buried themselves in the middle of the bag of grain. Jack's heart pounded as the shout came closer. Press and wait for people to leave. Suddenly the cart ratchet. Someone was driving them away. Jack and Annie picked over the bags. Jack saw the bag of the driver. He was calmly steering the ox cart over the dirt road. They were on their way to the War City. This is great, whispered Annie. All we have to do is jump out when we get into the city. Yep, Jack said softly. Then we will find the Imperial Library, find the book, and get back to the Magic Tree House. No problem, whispered Annie. Whoa! The cat slowly came to a halt. Jack held his breath. He heard the voice and the heavy tramping of Pete. Rachel Pete. He and Annie picked out. Oh man, he whispered. A long line of men was crossing the road in front of the cart. They carried axes, saw bells, and hoes. God marched alongside them. Let's find out what's happening, said Jack. He reached into his sack and pulled out the china book. Pushing his glasses into place, he found a picture of the worker. He read, the Dragon King posted many of his subjects to start building a wall to protect China from invader. Later, Imperial made the war even longer. Finally, it stretched 3,700 miles along China's border. The Great Wall of China is the longest structure ever built. Whoa, the Great Wall of China, said Jack. I heard of that, said Annie. Who hasn't? Said Jack. Those guys are going to work on it right now. Just then, someone grabbed Jack and Annie. They looked up. It was the driver of the cart. Who are you? He asked angrily. Jack didn't know what to say. The man gazed pat on the open book in Jack's hand. His mouth dropped open. He let go of Jack and Annie. Slowly he reached out and touched the book. He looked back at Jack and Annie with the wide eyes. What is this? He said. Chapter 5. The Scholar. It's a book from our country, said Jack. Your bags are made of bamboo, but ours are made of paper. Actually, your country invented paper, but later, in the future, the man looked confused. Never mind, said Annie. It's Paul reading. It's Paul running about faraway place. The man stared at them, tears filled his eyes. What's wrong? Annie asked softly. I love reading and running, he said. So do I, said Jack. The man smiled. You don't understand. I am dressed as the farmer, he said. But in truth, I'm a scholar. What's a scholar? Said Annie. We are great reader, runner, and writer, he said. We have long been the most honored citizen in China. The scholars smiled at him. But now scholars are in danger, he said, and many of us have gone into hiding. Why? Said Jack. The Dragon King is afraid of the power of our books and running, said the scholar. He wants people to think only what he wants them to think. Any day he may order the burning of the books. And he gasped, does that mean what I think it means? Said Jack. The scholar nodded. All the books in the Imperial Library will be burned, he said. That's rotten. That's rotten, said Annie. Indeed, it is, the scholar said quickly. Listen, we have a mission to get a book from that library, said Jack. Who are you? asked the scholar. Show him, said Annie. She reached into his shirt pocket as Jack reached into his sack. They brought out the secret library card. The leather shimmered in the sunlight. The scholar's mouth dropped open again. You are master librarians? he said. I have, I have once saw Anna who were so young. He bowed to show his respect. Thank you, said Jack and Annie. They bowed back to him. How can I help you? asked the scholar. We need to go to the Imperial Library and find this book, said Jack. He held out Morgan's bamboo strip to the scholar. We will go to the Imperial Library, said the scholar. As for the story, I know it well. It is a true one. Written long ago. Not long ago. Written not long ago. But I warn you, we will be a great danger. We know, said Annie. The scholar smiled. I'm happy to be doing something I believe in again, said the scholar. Let us go. They all climbed into the front of the cart. The long line of war builder was marching in the distance as the oxen started forward. The scholar turned to Jack and Annie. Where are you from? He asked, said Annie. I have never heard of it, said the scholar. Do they have a library there? Oh, sure, there's a library in every town, said Jack. In fact, there are probably thousands of libraries in our country, and millions of books, said Annie. And no one burned them, right, said Jack. Everyone get to go to school to run to read, to read them. The scholar stared at him and shook his head. It sounds like paradise, he said. Chapter 6, The Dragon King. The ox cart bumped across the wooden bridge that crossed over a moat. Then it passed the guard standing by giant wooden gate. Are the gate ever closed? Jack asked. Oh yes, every day at sunset, said the scholar. When the gong sound, the gate closed, the bridge come up, and the city is sealed shut for the night. I guess we still have to leave before that happens. And he said, or they will be stuck here for the whole night, right? Yes, said Scholar. The cart bumped between rows of small houses were bunched together on either side of the street. They were made of mud with this true roof. People cooked over outdoor fire. They washed their clothes in wooden tube. As the ox cart bumped along, the house got ra- ra- larger. The house got larger. These larger, these were made of painted wood and pottery tiles. They all had the carved roof. Why are these roofs right like that? Asked Jack. To keep away the bad spirit, said the scholar. How do they that? How do they? Said Annie. The spirit can only travel and strike the lion, said the scholar. Well, whispered Annie, the cart went by some open tea shop. Then it passed the rosy market square filled with the stall and shopper. People were buying and selling fish, kitchen, firewood, wagon wheels, silk clothes, pearl, and jade jewelry. Some people were riding up at a stall filled with the tiny cagey. What's for sale there? What's for sale there? Said Annie. Cricket, the scholar said. They make a good pet. You can feed them tea leaf and enjoy their delicate song. The cart moved on toward the Dragon King's world palace. They stopped in front of the palace gate. Grain delivery! The scholar shouted up to the guard at the tower. The guard waved them through. Inside were beautiful gardens and huge mound of earth surrounded by a raw brick wall. That is the imperial or barrier ground, said the scholar, pointing at the mound. Who's buried there? Jack asked Jack. The aged ancestor of the Dragon King, said scholar. What ancestor? And he asked. They are the people in your family who lived before you, said scholar. Someday the king dragon himself will be buried there. 300, 300,000 workers have been building his burial tomb. Oh man, said Jack. He looked over his shoulder at the burial ground. He wondered why it took so many workers to build a tomb. No, said the scholar. Jack wheeled around. What's wrong? He asked. The scholar pointed at the palace courtyard. The dark cloud of smoke was rising into the sky. Fire! Fire! Said the scholar. The books! Said Jack. Hurry! Hurry! Said Annie. The scholar snapped the rein. The oxen trotted up the stone path. When the cart rolled into the courtyard, soldiers were everywhere. Some threw wood on the huge bonfire. 모닥불을 장작불, bonfire. Others were carrying bamboo strip down the steep stair that led from the palace. Are those books? Asked Jack. Yeah, yes. The strips are tied together into different bundles, moaned the scholar. Each bundle is a book. Look, said Annie, pointing to the palace entrance. Stepping outside was a man in a rich flower, flowering robe and a tall hat. Jack knew him at once. The Dragon King. Chapter 7. Burning of the books. The Dragon King watched the bonfire as it blazed up toward the sky. Around the fire, the air was thick and wavy, wavy. Then books were stocked beside the fire, waiting to be burned. Hurry, said the scholar. They jumped down from the cart and joined the crowd by the bonfire. The Dragon King shouted to the soldier. They began throwing the fire. The bamboo crackled as the burned, as it burned. Stop! Cried Jack. Grabbed her. Quiet, he said, and he pulled away. Stop! He shouted. She shouted again, but her voice was lost in the noise of the roaring fire. There's your story, said the squirrel. He pointed to a bamboo book that he had the pattern of a waiting stock. I will get it, said Annie. She dashed off the book. Annie! cried Jack. But she had already snatched up the bundle of bamboo strip and was charging back to them. Get it, quick! Put it, put it in your sack, she said. Jack put the bundle of bamboo strip in his sack. Then he looked around fearfully. He gasped. The Dragon King was glowering at them. Then he headed their way. Seize them! The Dragon King shouted. Run through the barrier ground, the scholar said to Jack and Annie. The soldier will be afraid to follow. They fear the spirit of the ancestor. Thanks, said Jack. Thanks for everything. Good luck, cried Annie. Then she and Jack took off. Soldier shouted after them. An arrow whizzed by. But Jack and Annie kept running. They ran down the path to the burial ground. They jumped over the low brick wall and ran between the huge mound of earth. Suddenly, an arrow pierced the air around them. The archers were shooting from the tower. Look, cried Jack. There was a doorway in one of the mounds. Jack and Annie ducked inside. They were in a long hall lit with the oil lamp. It's so quiet, said Annie. She walked down the passageway. Hey, there are some steps here. Don't get any farther, said Jack. Why not? We don't know what's down there, said Jack. This is a burial tomb, remember? It's creepy. Let's, uh, let's just Take a quick look, said Annie. Maybe it's the way out of here. Jack took a deep breath. You might be right. 네가 맞아야 할 텐데 이렇게 하는 거죠. You might be right. He said, okay, but go slow. He didn't want to stumble upon a dead body. And he started down the steep step. Jack followed. The ramp led their way as they kept going down and down. Finally, they reached the bottom. Jack blinked. Even though oil lamps glowed everywhere, it was hard to see at first. When Jack's eyes got used to the strange light, his heart nearly stopped. Oh man! He breathed. They were in the room filled with soldiers, thousands of them. 절반 좀 넘게 읽었는데요, 이렇게. 여기에 이제 하나, 둘, 셋 꾸러미가 있는데 3분의 2 읽었어요. 그리고 이제 아마 제가 읽은 지 한 40분쯤 되나 봐요. 그래서 마무리 읽는 데까지 20분쯤 더 걸릴 것 같아요. Chapter 8, The Tomb. Jack and Annie stood frozen. The silent soldier did too. Finally, Annie spoke. They are fake. Fake. They are fake. She said. Fake? Whispered Jack. They are not real, she said. They look real, said Jack, and he walked straight toward the front row of soldiers. Jack held his breath and he pulled the soldier's nose. Fake, she said. Oh, brother, said Jack. He walked over to the soldier and touched his painted face. It was as hard as stone. It's amazing, Jack said. And he nodded. It's like a museum. She walked down a row between two lines of soldiers. Wait, this is spooky, said Jack. What is the place? What is this place? He put down his sack and pulled out the china book. He found a picture of the frozen army and read aloud. The Dragon King had 7,000 life-size clay figure made of his burial tomb. The clay was baked and painted. The Dragon King hoped that the clay army would protect him after he died. It is like the pyramid in ancient Egypt, said Jack. Remember? The queen was buried with a bottle of things to take to the afterlife. He looked around. Annie, I'm here, she called. She was put down another log. Come back here, yelled Jack. No, you come here, said Annie. It's so cool. All the faces are different. Jack threw the book into his sack. Then he hurried down the row to Annie. Look, she said. Just look. In the flickering lamplight, they wandered down the row of soldiers. No two soldiers had the same nose, same eyes, or the same mouth. Oh man, no wonder so many people had to work on this tomb, said Jack. They really did a good job, said Annie. Yeah, said Jack. There were kneeling archer, and foot soldier dressed in red and black armor. There were rare bronze swords, treasure, axes, spears, bows, and arrows. There were even rifle-sized wooden chariot, chariot with horse. 전차지 wooden chariot with horse. The horse looked completely real. They were different color with the white teeth and red toe. I have to take some notes about all this, said Jack. He pulled out his notebook and pencil, then kneeling on the brick floor, he wrote, not to pace the same, not even the horses. Jack, said Annie, you know what? What? I think we're roast, she said. Roast? Jack stood up. We are not roast. Eh? Yeah? Then which way is out? Said Annie. Jack looked around. Oh, he could see a row of soldiers in front of them. To the right, to the left, behind them, nothing but clay soldiers. Which way did we come? Said Annie. I don't know, said Jack. All the road looked the same. They stretched out endlessly. Jack tried not to panic. I'd better look this up, he said. Forget it, said Annie. Morgan said the research book would guide us, but in our darkest hour, only the ancient legend would save us. This is our darkest hour, asked Jack. Annie nodded. Yeah, it's pretty dark. It does seem to be getting darker in here, so Jack. The air was getting thicker too. It seemed harder to breathe. Let's ask for help, said Jack. He reached into the sack and pulled out the bamboo book. He held it up and said, Sabers! 난 분위기 알라딘 옆에 Sabers! As Jack waited, the tongue seemed unbearable quiet. 견딜 수 없을 정도로 조용했어. Jack held the book up again. Please help us find our way out, he said. He and Annie kept waiting, but nothing happened. The air was growing even thicker. The light was getting dimmer. The contrast rows of soldiers seemed creepier. Did not come. Jack felt pain. I I guess we will just have to look. And he said, what? The ball of thread rolled out of your sack. So what? Jack. He looked at his clothes sack lying on a ball of yellow silk thread had rolled out, and it was still rolling, leaving the trail of yellow thread. The Sixth Path. Chapter 9. The Sixth Path. What's going on? Said Jack. I don't know. said Annie. But we'd better follow it. She hurried after the ball of silk thread. Jack put the bamboo book into his sack and took off after her. They followed the trail of thread down the road, where it turned down another road. Hey, this is impossible, said Jack. That's scientifically impossible. I told you, it's magic, cried Annie. Jack couldn't believe it, but he kept following the thread. Suddenly, the trail of the thread was gone. The boat had completely unrolled. Jack and Annie stood still for a moment and caught their breaths. What? What now? Said Jack. I guess we go up those stairs. Annie said, what's there? There! Jack looked through the dim light and saw the entrance to the stairway only a few feet away. Let's get out of here, he said. They ran up the stair. At the top, they saw they were in the hall that led to the entrance of the mound. They walked and walked and walked down the ramp-lit passage. Finally, Jack stopped. I don't remember this hall being so long, he said. Me neither, said Annie. I guess those weren't the same stairs that we went down. What should what should we do now? We better keep going. We'd better keep going, said Annie. Yeah, we don't have much choice. We don't have much choice, said Jack. Still walking again. They rounded a corner and came to a door. Great, said Annie. Wait, we don't know what's on the right, said Jack. Go slow, be careful. Okay, said Annie, slowly and carefully. She opened the door. Then she picked up. "Yi- Yippee! She said softly, and he stepped into the padding daylight. Jack stepped out at her. The sun had gone down. They were standing outside the gate of the Dragon King's palace. They would they could see the market for away. The toll the store were closing for the day. We are safe, said Annie. Jack breathed a huge sigh of relief. Just then, a gong sounded. It was coming from the tower of the city wall. Oh man, they are going to close the gate, said Jack. He clutched his sack as they took off. They charged up the street. They ran past the market. They ran past the rich house, past the poor house. Their straw shoes packed off, but Jack and Annie kept running barefoot. Just as the giant wooden gate started to close, they tore through them. 가까스. They charged across the bridge and kept running up the dirt road past the farmhouse and through the field. By the time they reached the tree, Jack's arc, round eye, Jack's round, round, wrong. Jack's lungs ached. 배가 아팠대. His heart pounded. His pit. He followed Annie up the rough ladder. When they got inside the treehouse, Jack collapsed. Let's go home, he said, out of breath. He reached for the Pennsylvania book. Wait, said Annie, looking out the window. They found each other. Who? Found who? Said Jack, panting. He dragged himself to the window and looked out. Two figures embraced at the edge of the pier. The sick weaver and the man who take care of the cow, said Annie. Oh, yeah, said Jack. Bye! And he called to them. The couple waved back. Annie sighed happily. We can leave now, she said. Jack opened the Pennsylvania book and pointed at the picture of the Frog Creek. I wish we could go there, he said. The wind started to blow. Jack looked out on at the Chinese couple. They seemed to be glowing like stars. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still, absolutely still. The ancient, chapter 10, the ancient legend. Jack opened his eyes. He was wearing his own clothes and his sneakers. The clothes sack had turned back into his backpack. Welcome home, Master Librarians, said Morgan. She stood in the treehouse, smiling at them. Hi, said Annie. We brought you the ancient legend, said Jack. Wonderful. Jack reached into his pack. He took out the china book, then he pulled out the bamboo book. He handed them to Morgan. What's the legend about? Said Annie. It's called the Silk Weaver and the Cow Herd. Cow Herd, said Morgan. It's a very famous Chinese tale. Guess what, Morgan? Said Annie. We actually met them. We helped them get together. Oh, did you? Said Morgan. Yes, said Jack. The silk weaver's bow of silk saved Earth. What does the legend say about them? Asked Annie. It says, that long ago they were heavenly beings who live in the sky. 한 번 더 읽어보자. 이거 왜 이렇게 혀가 꼬이지? It says that long ago they were heavenly beings who live in the sky, said Morgan. When they came to Earth, they fell in love. That's when we met them, said Annie. Yes, I imagine so, said Morgan. The book you brought back, the book you brought back tell about their happiness on earth, but I'm afraid the later legend tells us that when they reached the sky, the king and queen of the sky separated them by a heavenly river called the Milky Way. Oh no, they got back together once a year, said Morgan. On that night, birds make a bridge in the sky over the Milky Way. Second Annie gazed up the bright summer sky. Go home now, said Morgan. Come back 2 weeks from today. Next, you're going to find a book in the country of Ireland. Country of Ireland over 1,000 years ago. This, said Annie. Morgan pondered. I'm afraid it very I'm afraid it was a very dangerous time, she said, for Viking riders often attacked the sea. Viking? Said Jack. He had enough danger to last a long time. Don't worry about it now, said Morgan. Just go home and rest. Jack nodded. I will try, he said, pulling on his backpack. Bye, said Annie. See you in 2 weeks. Thank you for your help, said Morgan. Anytime, said Annie. They have they headed down the rope ladder. From the ground they waved to Morgan. Then they started for home. As they got to the edge of the wood, Annie started to listen to the cricket. She said. They listened. The cricket chopped sounded louder than usual. They, their ancestors lived in the time of the Dragon King, said Annie. Oh, brother, said Jack. Right now, the grown-up are telling the little cricket a legend, said Annie. Yeah, sure, said Jack. A legend passed down from their ancestors, said Annie. Jack smiled. He didn't want to admit. He didn't want to admit yet, but the cricket noise did sound like storytelling. He could almost hear them saying, Dragon King, Dragon King, Dragon King, Jack, Annie, came the voice. It was their mother calling them. The spell broken. The cricket stories was just plain old cricket sound again. Coming! Jack shouted. Jack and Annie ran down their street and across their yard. Did you have a good time in China? Their mom asked. It was pretty scary, said Annie. You can roast it in a tub, said Jack. Well, we were saved by an ancient book. Their mom smiled and shook her head. My, books are wonderful, aren't they? She said. Yep, said Jack and Annie, and they followed her inside. 잠깐만요. 매직 트리하우스가 원래 그때 초반 찍어낼 때는 $3 99센트였네요. $3 99 했었네요. 399 했었는데 이거를 중고책으로 샀을 때 $2 97센트를 1달러 싼 가격에 샀어요. 그런데 이거를 인터넷으로 사니까 새 책으로 인터넷으로 요즘 사니까 한 $5 가까이 하더라고요. 이게 해년마다 격연으로 이렇게 $1씩 비싸지는 것 같네요. 저는 그거 조금 헷갈렸었거든요. 이름이 마리라서 여자였나 그랬는데 성이 어스번이라서 팝 어스번이라서 조금 헷갈렸었는데 여자분이시네요. 이분이 이렇게 보여드릴게요. 보이시죠? 이렇게 생긴 여자분이 마리 팝 어스번인데요. 이 사람이 쓴 글이에요. 재밌네요. 이 사람이 쓴 책 중에서 American Tall Tales도 있어요. 이거는 한번 읽어보고 싶고, Favorite Greek Verse는 아마도 오디세이스 얘기하는 것 같아요. 제가 김순교 선생님이 그거 오디세이 롱테일 북스 걸로 수업 진행하신다고 하셔서 저는 한국에서 주문해서 책을 봤는데 너무 오래 걸리기도 하고 그래서 그냥 여기 아마존에 원서를 주문해 놨어요. 아마 그거는 지금 이 사이즈보다 약간 더 두꺼울 거예요. 2배 정도 두꺼울 거예요. 어쨌든 네. 그렇게 단행본 시리즈가 아니라 단행본으로 나오는 건 조금 더 두꺼웠던, 그러니까 많이는 아니고 조금 더 두꺼웠던 걸로 기억을 해요, 제가. 네, 오늘은 이 책 읽었고요. 이제 11시가 다 돼가네요. 아침 겸 점심을 좀 챙겨 먹어야겠어요. 맞아. 네, 나중에 뵐게요. 바이. 오케이.